is CTV News.
Thanks for joining us. It's official, July 27th. That's when the Gordie Howe International Bridge will finally open. But getting there came at a price, a new deal that rewrites part of the original agreement on tolls. The July 27th opening ends weeks of uncertainty after a planned June ribbon cutting was scrapped while Canada and the U.S. worked to resolve last-minute issues. The new deal also rewrites part of the original agreement. Instead of Canada keeping all toll profits until the $6.4 billion project was paid off, Canada will receive half the profits for the next 15 years, while the other half goes into a new Regional Economic Development Fund. The agreement also gives the U.S. a say over future toll changes, requiring American approval if Canada wants to raise tolls by more than 10% or lower them below comparable crossings. In court today, a convicted cocaine trafficker's sentencing has been pushed back again. Harpreet Singh, who admitted to possessing 30 kilograms of cocaine found hidden inside his transport truck, will now be sentenced at the end of August. His new lawyer asked for more time to meet with his client before making sentencing submissions. Federal prosecutors fought the request, saying the legal deadline for a timely sentence passed 5 months ago. Justice Horvat granted the adjournment. In a London court today, this shocking arrest video helped collapse a kidnapping case. CTV's Nick Paparella has the story.
It is an alarming court exhibit that shows London police arresting a Toronto man who was 19 years of age at the time. They are in a downtown Richmond Row parking garage on December 8th of 2023. Officers arrived at the scene to make the arrest in connection to a kidnapping and extortion scheme over $100,000 in cash involved in proceeds from crime. Officers believe the man had a gun. In the video, you see the man, who is now 22, getting kicked. He suffers a cracked jaw and loses a tooth. In court, Justice Kevin McHugh stayed the charges against him, ruling that the officer who kicked the suspect deliberately falsified his notes about his arrest to justify the use of force. The judge went on to say that the court must distance itself from this behavior to maintain its just processes. Since the charges were thrown out, we are not naming the accused.
It's unusual for a judge to stay a case involving serious charges for police misconduct like this.
His lawyer is Daniel Rechtschaffen, who says Justice McHugh had no choice but to throw the charges out.
Justice McHugh gave a very brave decision, and it's not something I think any judge likes to do, meaning halt a prosecution instead of having a ruling on the merits. He understood and applied the law in an honest and appropriate way. And the law says that, when you weigh the interest in having the case aired on the merits versus the interest in the court distancing itself from this kind of behavior, there's no choice.
London police have since issued a statement about the incident, saying the service was previously made aware of concerns related to this matter and launched an internal review based on the information available at the time. The chief's investigation was subsequently paused pending the conclusion of the criminal proceedings.
I am unfortunately not overly optimistic about a review by the London Police Service. An external body with actual teeth should be reviewing this.
London defense lawyer Nick Cake says the conduct of the officers involved was staggering in this case because the camera doesn't lie.
It's surprising because it's an easy lie to catch if the officer is saying one thing, but the objective video evidence is showing another. I think that's what makes it most surprising.
Nick Paparella, CTV News.
In Chatham-Kent, the future of several municipal buildings is up for debate, hinging on where local leaders decide to build a new fire station. CTV's Chris Campbell has more on the discussion and why at this point there's little consensus.
Administration says several sites were evaluated before selecting part of the former St. Ursula School property for a new fire station.
My concern is it's now coming up on Monday. This is the first I've heard of it, and the first residents of the city have heard of it.
Councillor Amy Finn says she's concerned the proposed site is surrounded by single-family homes and questions whether other locations were fully considered.
I want answered on the fire master plan why it states Richmond Street between William and Bloomfield is the recommended area. It does not need to be in a residential area.
I'm not thrilled with the idea of being woke up by sirens. Or my children.
Nearby resident Tanya Burgoon worries the fire station would change the neighborhood.
The noise is an issue. Also, the extra traffic is not a thrilling thing.
While the relocation lines up with plans to move the Civic Centre into the new community hub in early 2028, administration says replacing Fire Station Number 1 has been part of the municipality's fire master plan since 2024 because the existing station no longer meets operational needs. But retired Chatham-Kent firefighter Mike Myers believes relocating the aging downtown station makes operational sense.
It's in a bad area. We've always had an issue with the tracks down there at Richmond. So at least here they're on the right track to serving this end of town.
If approved in the future, the new fire hall would occupy part of the former St. Ursula property, while the remaining land could be redeveloped for affordable and market housing. Administration is also proposing to convert the former Children's Treatment Centre into a community safety centre, bringing together fire administration, police services, paramedicine, and emergency management under one roof.
I think it's a good idea. I do believe that we're in the right spot, and I think if it's built correctly, you'll have a good area and the public here will be safe and they'll have good coverage.
No construction budget has been identified yet. Administration is expected to return with more detailed plans after council considers the next steps. Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Now to Lakeshore, where a wave of frustration is hitting some residents after opening their latest tax bills. While many expected increases, some say one particular line item is standing out, a $400 charge they say they weren't expecting. CTV's Bob Bellachico reports.
No, it doesn't bother me. I was expecting it. I knew it was coming.
Not everyone feels like Pat Levac. The Lakeshore tax bill has arrived. Mayor Tracy Bailey took to Facebook to help residents understand the green bin fee, but not everyone was embracing the explanation. One commenter saying the green bin program should have been optional. Another pointing out they've been composting for years. Levac has been using the green bin and is expecting the municipality to lower taxes on garbage pickup in the next couple of years.
They are thinking of changing it to weekly to bi-weekly, and right now with the green bin and the blue bin, I don't have regular garbage for at least a month. It's all progress, and they're just trying to do better for the society and the environment.
Marianne Beaulieu was in town visiting from Essex and says she recycles.
If you're going to be taxed for it, why wouldn't you use it then? Why would you not want to use it? It's collecting all your excess waste.
Essex Mayor Sherry Bondi has seen the backlash and is getting in front of it. The town has put together a report outlining the tax increase resulting from the green bin fee with answers to anticipated questions.
It's not a local program. This is a program that the provincial government is asking, mandating municipalities to get involved in.
Bondi explains the decision to enter the program was made by the former Essex County Council 4 years ago. She understands there are people in the county who compost and feels that is the way to go, but the green bin program is here.
My advice now to residents is let's start rowing in the same direction, because if we fight it, if we don't use it, then we're not only going to have to pay for the green bin program, we're going to have to pay for a new landfill.
According to members of municipal government, the topic of the green bin program in rural areas was discussed before being enacted.
I kind of believe that a lot of county residents aren't using it as much as the city of Windsor. There's a lot of us saying that we're actually subsidizing it.
Bob Bellachico, CTV News.
Despite a bump in gas prices today tied to renewed fighting in the Middle East, prices are actually expected to come back down through the weekend. CTV's John Van Valley Rao has more on the unpredictability right as road trip season ramps up.
North of Toronto, motorists headed for cottage country were frustrated the price to fill up has once again gone up.
Of course it's not good. What can we do? There's nothing we can control, right?
Overnight, gas surging about 5 cents a liter.
It's very expensive, but I know that there's issues right now in the world.
For Brian Comart, it's making it more costly to haul his trailer from Chatham, Ontario to Algonquin Park.
I bet you the whole trip's going to be $400. of gas. Easy.
Across the country, prices were up, back to nearly $2 in Vancouver for regular unleaded, while the national average is around $1.72. And if you thought the resumption of hostilities between the U.S. and Iran this week will push prices up further, forecaster Dan McTagg says they're actually headed down this weekend.
It's dropping 2 cents a litre on Saturday and likely 3 or 4 cents a litre on Sunday. That's counterintuitive to economic fundamentals. A shortage and high demand means prices go up, not down.
In fact, the price for oil hasn't jumped as much as one might have expected. West Texas Intermediate crude started the week at $69 U.S. a barrel and did surge to $76 after the U.S. president declared the ceasefire was over, but it's since fallen to around $71. Experts say the market so far has essentially learned to shrug off the conflict.
I think the new normal is that we're going to see skirmishes from time to time between Iran and the U.S., interspersed with periods of relative calm, allowing tankers to enter the Persian Gulf, load crude oil, and then depart.
But McTagg thinks prices could jump by the end of the month as the U.S. continues to draw down on its strategic reserve of oil.
We might be getting temporarily a reprieve in the short term, but the long term will be higher prices for an extended period of time.
And there is one more wild card, the hurricane season. Experts say if a major storm would hit U.S. refineries on the Gulf Coast, that would put further price pressure at the pumps here. John Valley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Canada used to be the top export market for American wines, but in the face of provincial booze bans, the market share dropped significantly. And as CTV's Abigail Beeman reports, while U.S. lawmakers are ramping up calls to drop the bans, Canadian booze sellers want premiers to stand firm.
Thanks to the ban on American booze, Ontario's Westcott Vineyards is expanding, and liquor store sales have jumped 600%.
We are leaning into this and expect our business to continue to grow, whether those products come back or not.
Owner Carolyn Hurst is happy to keep the ban in place and wants premiers to stand their ground.
It's been incredibly effective for small producers like us. Every dollar that's been spent on an Ontario wine and on a Westcott wine has gone right back into the province of Ontario.
There are new pushes from American lawmakers to get rid of the ban. California Senator Adam Schiff posted it's causing devastating harm. He sent this letter to Quebec's premier asking her to rescind it. While New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney launched legislation to investigate Canada for unfair trade practices called the Combating Attacks on Our National Alcoholic Drinks by Allies, or Canada Act.
Just want to get this deal done, and then we'll put that booze back on the shelves.
Ontario has held firm, while Quebec's premier's office told us in a statement this measure will remain in effect as long as the United States maintains these unjustified tariffs.
Canada is violating our own trade agreement with the Americans.
Former trade advisor to Stephen Harper, Meredith Lilly, believes the province is overstepped.
I expect that there is a dance happening behind the scenes, and it would be my preference if the provinces took cues from the federal government. It's my hope that the federal government is seeking to get them back on the shelves.
Lilly says the ban is a tricky situation to unwind. Ottawa can't publicly call for it to be removed if the premiers hold firm. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time. And from local bar stages to international fame, Windsor's own The Tea Party is getting the keys to the city. That's coming up. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is here with a look at the forecast. And Gary, a potentially rainy start to the weekend.
Potentially. But I think I'm leaning towards mostly cloudy in the afternoon rather than mostly rainy. And I'll break that down for you in this segment. Folks, today was warm. Very much a seasonal day. In terms of both daytime highs and lows, no real extremes here, no records being set, but it certainly felt warmer than 27 to about 29 degrees Celsius today, in the mid-30s, about 35, 36. And some areas reporting 38 in terms of the humidex. The worst weather you can see cutting across the Ohio Valley, stretching east towards the mid-Atlantic states, and this westerly draw is also sliding just further south of the lower Great Lakes. That is good news and bodes well for us through the overnight. I think it'll be partly cloudy with a light breeze. Temperature down to about, say, 19 or 20 degrees, feeling like about 25 to 27. So again, another July early morning in southern Ontario. The rainfall tallies have not been impressive so far today. And if we do see an isolated shower, less than 5 millimeters is anticipated. Chatham-Kent 2 millimeters, and this is just a simulation of the future. More likely to see rainfall tally up further east along the northeastern shores of Lake Erie. 19 degrees, as mentioned, light breeze, partly cloudy, so you might be able to open up the windows and give your air conditioners a bit of a break. I was just looking at my electricity bill. Not good, but we anticipate warm and humid conditions at this time of the year. Speaking of warm and humid, it already feels like 27 at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Mostly sunny through the morning and midday, early afternoon before the clouds move in. And there's a slight risk of showers and or thunder showers tomorrow afternoon. A high of 28 feels like about 34 or 35. Sunny on Sunday, sunny on Monday, sunny on Tuesday. Temperatures 29, 32, and 34 respectively, and then low 30s. An increase in cloudiness Wednesday through possible showers Thursday into Friday. Not a horrible forecast for the weekend and the start of next week. Travis?
Thank you, Gary. Quebec is cracking down on Ontario truckers trying to get a license to work in the province. As CTV's Sweeta Rassi reports, it comes after an Ontario Auditor General report identified gaps in training for truck drivers.
Ontario truck drivers who have had their Class 1 or trucker's license for less than 2 years will now have to pass a road test before they can get a Quebec license. That's according to the SAAQ, Quebec's Auto Insurance Board. If they fail twice, they would be required to complete mandatory training.
Students were not taught key elements.
This measure comes after Ontario's Auditor General found the province is not effectively monitoring training and licensing programs, raising concerns about qualified drivers on the road. The SAAQ estimates that 375 Ontario drivers make the jump to Quebec each year. And it's concerned. Its data shows more than 25% of deaths that occurred on Quebec roads last year involved a truck.
We have seen an increase in trucks involved in deadly accidents here in Quebec in the last year and the previous year. So we're taking this seriously. No one likes to see people die on the street.
A public inquiry is also underway following a deadly crash in Boucherville that killed a 34-year-old mother and her 5-year-old son. The Quebec Trucking Association says the measure is a good step, but President Marc Cadieux would like to see more.
I've insisted that there will be to be put more hours on control and enforcement on the Quebec roads. That will be a clear message.
The government calls the new road test a temporary measure, one it says will stay in place until Ontario proves it's tightened its own standards. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News.
New figures show barely 1 in 4 kids on Ontario's autism waitlist get funding, a number that hasn't budged for years. As CTV's John Woodward reports, the program is administered by a private company and parents are pushing it to free up resources.
8-year-old Emma Wheel is an energetic and playful kid.
Look it!
Emma has cystic fibrosis and autism. Her mom, Danielle, says Emma has just been moved from a wait list to receive annual funding for care. Great news, but her other 2 sisters also have autism and they're still waiting.
It's exhausting, it's frustrating, and it just seems like it's barrier after barrier being put up.
Her family mirrors the situation province-wide. According to Provincial quarterly reports, fewer than 1 in 4 kids on that waitlist get funding, a number that's trended worse than last year, despite a funding increase of around $186 million.
It always stays around 23%.
So we're assuming that that increase in funding mostly goes to administration.
The waitlist is managed by a private company, Acerta, which the data says fell well short of its targets by thousands of kids. Acerta's headquarters were recently targeted by striking members of public sector union OPSU. Their report says the company's payments from Ontario tripled to more than $670 million in 2024.
So the question that we have for this government is, are you renewing that contract, or are you actually going to take that money and reinvest it in the front lines directly where it belongs?
One specific example of potential waste that parents are highlighting are lengthy meetings to determine care needs of a child that happen every year for every child. A briefing note to the ministry from 2023 says these meetings are longer than initially planned and can take up to 4 to 5 hours, a commitment that would require dozens of staff over the more than 20,000 kids in care.
So we've been asking for them to pull back and not have this as an annual process, thereby opening up more determination of needs slot for children to come off the wait list.
Acerta stands by its program, saying we provide specialized expertise in modern technology that helps distribute public funds for critical social services to those who need them most as quickly and efficiently as possible. The government says it's reduced the length of these interviews, adding we continue to explore a range of initiatives aimed at streamlining processes for families enrolled in OAP core clinical services, reducing burden and improving the overall family experience.
We need to seriously re-examine why we're having to wait this long.
Wheel says she hopes the issues are solved to get her other kids funding more quickly, and so she won't face 3 times as many meetings. John Woodward, CTV News.
The TSX gained 105 points, and in New York, the Dow added 150, and the Nasdaq is up 73. The Canadian dollar gained 0.1 cent today, and on commodity markets, gold fell more than $27 an ounce, and oil lost 67 cents a barrel. CTV News Windsor has launched a newsletter helping you start your day with the latest local news. By signing up, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Sandy McDonald joins me again. We're at Jackson Park, and we are looking at this topic. It's very interesting to see what borers can do to plant life, in particular this cherry tree. Talk to us about this invasion, if you will.
This is something that a number of gardeners may run into, and particularly with a group of trees. So if you grow your own cherries, apricots, plums, even the ornamental trees too, Japanese flowering cherries, ornamental peach blossom, pear blossom, they are all susceptible to borers. Typically they're called peach tree borers, though there are a couple of other ones. And it's an insect which actually bores into the trunk of the plant and goes underneath the bark and feeds there, and it interrupts the flow of nutrition within the tree.
We're seeing a lot of tree death here with this cherry tree.
And this one actually is a native tree, a pin cherry, sometimes called a bird cherry. So it's not a large fruit. We have some images that we took of this earlier as well. They tend to be short-lived, particularly because of the borers as well. So on this particular one, there are some major trunks that have died and some that are actually in the throes of death right now. And there's symptoms on the tree trunk as well. We've seen gummosis, which is this golden, somewhat now hardening exudate from the tree. And this is very much a sign of the borers being present. The tree's trying to protect itself by exuding this gum-like material out, and also cracking in the trunk as well too. Sometimes you'll see small entry holes. Sometimes you might see a little bit of sawdust material coming out, which is mixed with the feces of the insect. So we should be on the lookout for those cracks, for that golden or orangey yellow gummosis. It could be soft or hardened. And even as well too, sometimes we'll find holes within the tree. It often results in the death of the tree.
As always, thank you for your expertise. We will join you next week with another edition of Get Gardening.
The weekly beach report is out, with one local beach closed and another with a warning about water quality. The Windsor-Essex County Health Unit has closed Holiday Beach due to very high levels of E. coli in the water, and a warning has been posted at Colchester Beach. The health unit warns swimming in that water could pose a risk to your health. For one last time this week, let's take a look at the 7-day forecast with CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald. And Gary, it's looking like a decent start to next week.
It's not bad. It's warming up. It'll be sunny. Anticipate the UV rating to be high, if not very high. And prepare yourself for some humidity, which will make these temperatures feel several degrees warmer. Especially next week. Monday, look at this, up to 32, sunny on Tuesday, 34, 33 through the midweek on Wednesday, and then possible showers, cool off just a touch, 30, and then 30 Thursday into Friday. Saturday, some cloudiness in the afternoon, but despite the fact that I do recommend keeping the umbrella nearby, I don't think we're going to see a washout situation. I think the weekend's not so bad at all. Wherever you are, enjoy your weather, your weekend, time with family and friends, and spend some good time with your furry friends, of course. I'll see you next week. Good night.
Thank you, Gary. Finally tonight, 35 years after getting its start in Windsor, Essex, the Tea Party has picked up one more honor to add to its trophy case, the keys to the city of Windsor. Windsor officially honored the hometown band Friday during a special ceremony. Formed in 1990, the band has gone on to sell nearly 3 million albums worldwide, earning multiple platinum and gold records and taking its music to audiences across the globe.
We're Windsor boys at heart, and just traveling the world representing Windsor as the Tea Party, it's just great to come home and know the city has our back and just recognizes us. It's just really warm feeling inside for us, I think.
That's our time for tonight. We hope to see you back here on Monday. For now, I'm Travis Fortnum. Have a great weekend.